I want to thank everybody for coming to the press conference. It means a lot to us. We're excited about being members of the Southeastern Conference. It's the best baseball conference in the country. 4 out of the 5 last national champions come from this conference, and we play 4 or 5 of them at L. Dale Mitchell this year. And in our non-conference schedule is going to be really good. We're actually going to play the last 5 national champions. I think our non-conference schedule is going to prepare us for our conference. So I'm really excited about our team. The guys came back for the spring ready to go, especially our offense has. And I think that's been exciting. You know, with the weather, it's up and down every day. It's Oklahoma, and we're an outside sport. So, you know, some days it'll be 80 degrees and some days it'll be misting and snowing and everything else. So kind of we've had some guys under the weather at times, but it's been really good, and we're excited about, you know, I think everybody understands what our culture is, how we go about our practice. Fall went really well. We came through the fall break into the spring break healthy, which is exciting for us, and looking forward to this spring, looking forward to the excitement of our new kind of updated facilities with right field, loge boxes, and those things. I think it's going to add some fan experiences, different experiences. Playing in the SEC conference is like playing it's like playing in a football environment. I've said it a lot of times, in a baseball arena. So we're excited about that. We're excited about our fans. Our season tickets are up. I think we set a record last year, and I think we surpassed that record this year so far. So we're excited about that and looking forward to a good spring.
Skip, it seems like Kyson and Malachi both had really good summers playing with Cape and USA. Just what have you seen from them development-wise, and how much they've improved?
I think the growth of playing for Team USA, playing for your country, means a lot to you. And I think they understood that. You know, them going to the Cape, how they go about their business every day. It really, what it does is their leadership sets a standard in our program for our other pitchers and our other players, how they go about their business. And I think that helped. I think they were aware of it, playing for Team USA, from how you stand for the national anthem and how you go about your business. I think that's what's been exciting, and the growth of Malachi has been really exciting. I think his little bit of change in his delivery has really helped him be more consistent, and we're looking forward to watching him compete. I mean, the game's an imperfect game. It's not a perfect game, and I know one thing: when I sit over in that other dugout and watch those guys pitch, they're going to give you effort. And that's all you can ask out of them. They can't be superheroes. They just got to go out and be themselves, and themselves are good enough for us.
Yeah, Skip, sticking with the pitching, fans are really excited about Cam and Crossland in particular. What are those 2 guys bring to the table for you?
Well, I mean, I think Cam's grown up a little bit. He's understanding how to take it one pitch at a time. He's really exciting to see his growth from when he got here. I mean, he's changed completely with what our strength coach has done, Tim Overman, our nutritionist. I mean, it's really helped him as he's grown. I think Malachi and Kyson's helped with the leadership of understanding how we work and how we go about our business. Our sports science program has really helped him a lot. And now in our mental performance coaches helped him as well, going through us and helping us how to make sure he understands taking it one pitch at a time. You can just take it one pitch at a time and understand one pitch at a time is really where you're going to, it really matters a lot.
Skip, obviously you lost 3 guys from your outfield that you know, they've been big pieces there for a while, but obviously Walk's got some experience, Deshaun and Brandon. How do you feel about that group going into the season? I'm
really excited about it. I mean, they have one of the best coaches in America with Reggie Willis as an outfield coach. You know, a lot of time we lose sight, because I'm sitting up here as the head coach of the invisible. Our invisible guys are our coaches. You know, they're invaluable. And with what Ryan Gaines, Reggie, Todd Butler, all of them, Russell Raley, all those guys do, I think that they've come along, understand how to practice and how to go about their business. Walk is matured a lot, understands he's going to play center field. He sometimes he plays so hard, he kind of plays reckless. He's learned how to get through that a little bit. Brandon Kane's done a great job. Desan Harris, Desan Harris is a great story for us. He came in our program as a walk-on, and he's gotten better every year, and he'll see a lot of playing time. Sam Christensen's played good. He's had a really good spring, and I think those things can continue. And here of late, Gamble has been really, really well. Swung the bat really well. So we're excited about that. They're really dynamic athletes. All those guys in the outfield, they can run. Dickerson, we've moved Dickerson from the infield to the outfield. This guy's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of ability, and it's just now seasoning him. He reminds me a lot of Hardman as a freshman, has a lot of ability, and just kind of put him in pieces where he can succeed and watch that confidence grow.
Is it one of those things that when you're replacing 65% of the offense, is that almost overblown in a way, being that you guys did go out and recruit well? Is there, I guess, a confidence in what you guys will be offensively here through this first?
That's a great question. It's you look at it, when we made this transition and we hired Todd Butler, the guy spent 15, 17 years in the SEC as a recruiting coordinator. I call him a bird dog. I'm just a country guy. That's what I call him. He goes out and he'll find them. He will find the guys in how they fit our culture and how they go about their business. And, losing 65% of your offense is really difficult. We lost 55% of our pitching. And so when you look at those numbers, it scares you. But if you just think about winning pitches and understand the process and lose yourself in the process instead of dealing in the results, then all of a sudden you start looking up the middle of the field. You got Easton, you got Mudler back, you got Willich, you got Jason Walk in center field, and those guys are up the middle of the field where you want to be strong and you want to have some experience, and those guys are coming back and having experience. And I think their fall, they had to learn a different system, learn a different culture, our compete clause culture, a championship standard, how you go every day, Oklahoma before you, the mentality, the process, engage with each other, the toughness and the energy you bring to practice every day. Every one of those players had to learn it from these guys sitting up here, and I think they did a great job. Now it's just trying to polish those guys in our offense and how Coach Willits runs our offense, and I think that's getting those some continuity and figuring out who hits behind who leads off, who hits in the 9-hole, and going forward, and just try to put as much pressure you can to create some chaos and on the field for the other team.
How do you manage the bullpen? There's so many arms and so many guys. Is it just you got to get them in there at some point and see if they can sink or swim type of deal?
Well, Eddie, you've heard this statement before. How you do that is, my dad had a cowboy hat, and how he paid his bills, you just pull it, that bill, I'm going to pay that bill. When he pulled out a cowboy hat, you just got to pull the guy out and you got to throw him out there and see what he does.
In the hat, though?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing when you're running a bullpen, you got to put them in situations where they're going to succeed. Right, left, right, or you look at pitches, you look at strength of a hitter, weakness of a hitter, strength of a guy in the bullpen, weakness of a guy in the bullpen versus a hitter, and you start looking at that and you start dissecting as you go through it. And then you play the hot hand. There's a lot of guys that you play the hot hand, and all of a sudden that guy starts getting experience. And look what we did with Cade Horton, and those things will happen. The greatest thing about baseball in our world today is in pitching is those guys are going through the lineup once or twice. That's it. Back in the day, I think Jim Palmer won 20 games, 8 seasons. That'll never happen again. Yeah. And so they're throwing 3 or 4 or 5 innings, and so your bullpen is just as important as your starters. A lot of times everybody looks at, hey, I'm a Friday night starter. It's really the invisible guys that are invaluable, your bullpen. It's the guys that, hey, they're sitting in English class, or sitting in biology, or they're sitting wherever in a business class, and they look out, Hey, they're playing a game. I might throw the 6th inning tonight. I might throw the 7th inning tonight. I might throw the 8th inning tonight. I might throw the 9th inning. That's the exciting part as a pitcher. You can make a difference as a reliever in 30 to 40 games in a 56-game schedule, where a starter makes a difference in maybe 12 or 15 games. So it's, it's like last year, Malachi had an exit meeting with Malachi going from the fall and from the fall to the spring, and I said, Malachi, I just know this. At the end of the game, if we can get you used to it, I want one of our best pitchers pitching at the end of the game, and that's what I've designated you for. Even though he'll start this year, I wanted one of our best pitchers to pitch at the end of the game. And he did a great job for us last year understanding that role. And getting those guys to understand that role is really, really difficult at times, especially in the world that we're living in an NIL world, in a selfish world that we're living in. It's all about me, and it's not about us. A lot of times you look at, we're always worried about one. We're not worried about this, but this is stronger than that when we all come together.
Kyson and Malachi both, can you guys just compare maybe how far you've come or how more comfortable you feel or whatever since maybe this time last year when you first got here? Skip helping you, obviously.
Yeah, like Coach said about Team USA and the Cape, I think that experience playing with the best people around the world, names that I've seen play in the game, that just top guys really help with the experience and the confidence coming back and really trying to share our experience with the other team and our teammates and seeing them rise as well.
No, definitely piggybacking off him, just knowing that my name was called to be on the biggest stage of the biggest names, really was a big confidence boost. And knowing that my name is on that USA jersey, just coming back here, knowing what I can bring to the table with my guys, trying my best to be a leader and show what we can do this year. I've got a ton of confidence in this team, big brotherhood here, compete every day. Love it here. I feel like we can be really great this year.
Probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had was last year when I got the phone call that those guys were going to play on Team USA. I called them both in my office, and I get kind of emotional about it because, you see guys get called in the big leagues. I've had a lot of guys call me at night. Hey, I'm getting to go to the big leagues. Well, when they heard their name getting for Team USA, and Easton's played on Team USA at a younger age. When they got that opportunity, it was like they were so excited. It was like, wow. It means so much for them to play for their country. It was incredible to see their reaction to it.
Easton, I guess for you, obviously you had a really big season at the plate last year. What are some of the things maybe you've been tinkering with this offseason to kind of be able to build on that?
Just getting through the offseason, I understand who I am as a player, and it's really just continue to work on the mental side of it. You are who you are as a player. I think at this level and even the next level, the skill gap's so small that it's one of those, it's really half the time not physical. It's all mental. So it's how can I be the strongest I can in between the years and understand that my game will be my game and trusting my work and trust what I do off the field, but make sure I'm really strong in between the ears. So once the game gets going, I can continue to be within who I am and not try to do too much.
Skip, you briefly touched on the upgrades coming to LDM Mitchell Park. What does that increased fan engagement do for this team?
If you were around our baseball team in 22, in every big environment that they played in, they played really well. And I think the more that fan experience can get into it, and they're gonna see it when one of these teams come in here and there'd be a lot of other fans here, they'll see that experience. You go to some of these SEC deals, it looks like Lloyd Noble out in the parking lot. There'll be barbecue pits going crazy, and it's exciting. It gets really exciting. I think they'll elevate their game. It'll help them prepare them for the next level, understanding, hey, it's really just about being in control of yourself, making one pitch at a time. That's really what it's about. We always look at them, and I think they're still amateurs. And if we can teach them, it's going to help them further down the road. We're here as teachers to do it. I was excited. Our team GPA this year was a 3.3 in the fall. We've done something to change their life. And whether it's teaching them about changing the flat to understanding going one pitch at a time, that's what we're we're put on earth is to help people. That's what I was anyway.
Yeah, but you got like 13 true freshmen on the roster. You just talk about how they've been coming along this spring and just how they've really helped the roster get better.
Yeah, I think Coach Butler did a great job of going out and finding the freshmen that fit our culture and how we go about our business, whether it's athletically or on the mound. I think they've experienced a lot, and they've had really good experiences. Catalano's really come on. Barfield has really come on. Dickerson, those guys have really done a great job as we go through it. I mean, I could name a lot of them if I just sat here for a while, but I think those guys have really grown as they've gone through this. I think with Kyson and Easton and Malachi's leadership and Crooks's leadership and Jackson Willis's leadership have helped those guys understand how you go about your business on a daily basis, setting routines, understand what routines are, and getting better every day.
What kind of qualities did Jackson Willits have a year ago at this time that maybe you see in some of these freshmen that will need to transfer over that make that transition easier, I guess, into college baseball?
I think being baseball players, understand how to play the game, understanding what one pitch means, understanding how important the out is, understand where they're at on the field, not trying to do too much. I think where Jackson fit into that really well. I hope I'm answering the question right, but I think that he understood how to play the game. And I think some of those guys that we have right now, especially on the mound, they understand that role. And they've done a really good job with understanding that role. I think like we have Riley Leininger, he missed most of the fall with an injury. He's gotten better every day that we walked out there. Cole Hansen has gotten better under him and Carmichael's and Mudler's tutelage, and I think they've really grown a lot. Are they just ready to play yet? Might not, but if you can throw them in there, if they can be like I explained to these guys the other day, 1988, the Dodgers won the World Series, and they had a group called the Stuntmen. And Mickey Hatcher, a graduate from OU that played baseball at OU, was the leader of the Stuntmen. If a guy had to take a day off, those guys are ready to play. I think those guys got to be ready to play every time. And really what they're accountable for is pushing their teammates. You know, that's the biggest thing. If you can push your teammates to get better, then we've got a great culture.
Jason Walk, a pretty good example of that and what he had to do a year ago.
Jason Walk, John Spikerman, Easton Carmichael, even though Easton played a lot as a freshman, those guys, I mean, you can see it, like Jackson Nicholas with Diego. I mean, I could name a lot of them. And I mean, Jake Bennett. I mean, Jake Bennett was one of those guys we'd thrown on Tuesdays. Yeah. You know, and all of a sudden he went from Tuesday to Sunday starter to Friday night starter. Going in the 50th pick in the draft to I mean, the guy could have a chance to pitch in the big leagues the next couple of years.
This for the players, what newcomers have really stood out swinging the sticks so far?
I can go first. I'm thinking of our starters that we have like really set up to go from day one. Dawson Willits, again, he's tough out pitching to him, especially on the bases. Real athletic guy. He's stealing every bag, every attempt. He gets on base, he's stealing bags. He's just a ball player. Pretty much everyone that I throw to, everyone's a tough out in the box. We got some sticks, but especially on the base path with Reggie, we don't want people on base for playing against us.
No, definitely. Especially Dawson Willis, really good, hard out. I mean, a lot of power, really disciplined up there. We preach discipline. There's never easy out. They swing at good pitches. They take the bad ones. I'd say Kyle Branch, freshman, really hard out. He's a gritty guy. I mean, he'll take it off your teeth for you. I mean, it's just hard outs up and down the lineup. Even guys that might not see the field, they're never just going to sit there and let me mow them down. I mean, it's a hard out, fighting off every pitch they can.
Yeah, I mean, like they both said Dawson, and I can continue on about him, but yeah, I mean, he's been really good, and I think he'll be a good piece to the middle of the order this year. And then even again Kyle, and then I'd even say Gamble, like he said, is just he's really swung the bat well this spring, and it's one of those guys where it's just like, dude, he can be a pest. One of those guys who just won't strike out a whole lot and just kind of really give you troubles on the mound. And so then he'll sneak a base hit here and there, and then he can cause some chaos on the bases. So it's one that he's probably been my biggest, I guess, joy to see this spring, just because again he's a hard out.
I'd also say Sam Christensen swinging the bat really well, coming back from this fall. I mean, that guy's average XFL this spring is probably 101. I mean, a lot of power up and down the lineup. I can go down our whole lineup talking great about everybody, but I mean, a few of those guys stood out really great for us this spring.
What's funny is you hear I hear everybody talk about our offense. We got two of the best pitchers that I've coached in 35 years sitting to my right, and they're telling you what they're feeling. So, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to go walk out there and score 12, 15 runs a game. I mean, it is what it is. Baseball is baseball, and they're going to be – they're coached right, they're disciplined, they're going to get after it.
Skip, you had Nesta on the roster last year, and then you get Taylor Tatum in now. How do you feel like those two-sport guys are handling things?
Nesta's gotten a lot better. I mean, he's grown a lot. He actually threw pretty good in the inter squad the other day. Taylor is fighting a little bit of tendonitis in his knee, and you could see the athleticism that he has. He actually has learned a lot in our program and how we go about our business every day. I think his growth is really more going to see it here in the near future. He has some good at bats, and you know those guys are lifting weights in the morning with football, coming over to baseball. That's been a really good eye opener for them to how they got to really understand their nutrition, their sleep, and all the stuff, how they go about their business. But both of them are dynamic athletes. Nesta's like it's kind of he plays defensive end, and but he pitches like he's calm. You know, I think defensive end he's going to be slinging snot, right? But he's really calm on the mound. It's been interesting to watch, and he's gotten a lot better. They've grown a lot. I think Nessa's grown the most, but he's been in our program a lot more. And it's been fun to look at Taylor Tatum's smile. You know, he's got I mean, he's happy-go-lucky. He gets after it. He's physical, and it's going to be exciting.
Kyson, man, can you talk about Easton and what makes him the player that he is, and how he helps just the team overall and helps you too?
No, absolutely. He's gotten so much better catching wise. I mean, love throwing to him. He receives everything, keeps it all in front of him. Really, really outspoken. I mean, he's the one that's going to get on you. He's going to be the most supportive behind the dish. He's going to tell you need to do this now. I mean, really respectable guy, well-spoken, really big guy in the locker room, in the dugout. I mean, he's a guy you trust with everything. I mean, I trust his pitch calling. I don't shake too often. I mean, he's just a really, really good force for us. I mean, we really need a lot more guys like Easton Carmichael in our team. I mean, great leader, love throwing to him. I mean, he's the best we've got.
Can't really add much to that. He really hit that on the nail. Left on him, great guy, on and off the field, great for our team.
For the players, I guess, you kind of talked about taking a leadership role in this team. What do you guys, how do you feel about that? And, like, what do you plan to instill in some of the newer players going into the season?
Yeah, I can start with that. I mean, obviously, it's one of those of I was sooner born, sooner bred. So this place is my home, and so it's one of those of not only for me now and for the team now. Obviously, I want the most success for this program for the future, for now and for the future. So it's one of those of if I can get younger guys to understand what Oklahoma baseball is about, then that not only sets up now, but it also sets up the future. So it's one of those of I try to do the best I can day in and day out to instill those guys, because once I'm gone, once all three of us are gone, then those are the guys running the ship, right? So it's one of those of we try to instill that compete clause, and we try to instill kind of what we stand for offensively and defensively and on the mound. And so we try to show these guys how we've had success within the past few years so they can have success in the coming years.
No, definitely. I mean, I would say Kyson and I are leaders through action more. We might not be the ones to call a team meeting and grill some dudes about it, but I mean, Skip says it all the time about how we go about our business, in and out. I mean, get there early, get our work done. I mean, it's really a professional take on what we do every day. We play catch the same way with high intent. I mean, it's intent through everything, and I know that, I mean, the young guys, I mean, there's eyes on us all the time. They see it. They see the success that we've brought through our ability to go through our routines on a daily basis, and I feel like they can learn a lot. I mean, if they can take our mindset, they'll be able to grow exponentially.
Yeah, I agree with what Easton said about kind of sharing our own thought process and trying to really instill that into other players. Like, I'll have an outing, if I bad outing, can't show it at all, got to tell the guys, like, I trust myself. I get hit around, so what? It's a game. Baseball's hard, so people get hit. You're not going to hang your head. Can't have that around the program. Can't be a cancer to the team. So really just share my mindset. If guys are doing really good, pat him on the back. Really try to pick his brain about his outing. Like, try to figure out what he's thinking on the mound, share what I would have done, what I really liked about his outing, what I think he could have done better, and just really trying to help our team.
Yeah, adding on to that, we got a lot of guys eager to learn, especially young guys. I mean, knowing that Kyson and I have had success, they're not slow. They're not waiting to ask us around, ask us questions about what they should have done. I mean, they want to learn as much as we do, and we're happy to give them any insight that we can to make them the best players that they can be.
For the Witherspoon friends as well, you didn't obviously go to baseball straight away. You had swimming and track and all your other sports before that. I was just wondering, how have those sports helped you develop your pitching game as well, if any way they have?
I can say, like, just growing up, being athletic, really since birth, always moving around. I think it just helped with our physicality, I could say for me, like, holding my velocity throughout the innings. I think just my athleticism really just helps me keep that going, and really on off the field, just think I'm athletic. That's pretty much all I got.
No, definitely doing all that definitely gives us more of a physical look. I would say we're pretty built guys, maybe not looking like your average pitcher, but I mean, we throw harder because I would benefit it to the swimming and everything else we did growing up. I think it does nothing but help you doing all the variety.
Kyson, Malachi, what does it do to your confidence to have that family bond and know that the guy next to you is either has or is going through the same thing you are right now?
Well, it's awesome. He's my built-in partner. Like, we play catch every day, and if we see something, we're harping on each other. If we see each other slack, which we really don't ever, but we keep each other in check and really try to keep us to the same standard.
No, I know. I play catch with him every day. He knows me better than I know myself. I'd say the same for him. I see a little thing. I mean, I'm quick to tell him. He takes it. He takes it well. I take it well. I know he's got my best interest in his heart. So, I mean, it's great. I mean, I grew up playing catch with him, and I'm able to do it here on the big stage. I would say it's more of a blessing than anything. I mean, we weren't expected to go to the same colleges growing up, but being here at the SEC with my brother, and man, I mean, it's a great feeling. I'm blessed to be able to do it.
Easton, you guys talked about who some of the new hitters are that I'm impressed, but who are some of the new arms that you've really enjoyed working with so far?
I mean, obviously you can't leave out these two, right? But I guess newcomers, I'd for sure say Crossland. I mean, having an older brother who's a big changeup guy, to have him who's a big changeup guy too, it's kind of, I get to reminisce when I catch him a little bit, just because of he has a lot of feel for that pitch. But so he's awesome to catch. And getting really to know Cam Johnson a little more, and being able to catch him quite a bit too. He's one of those where he's fun to catch, because it's one where I can really talk him through some stuff, and we can really get through together. It doesn't really feel like I'm catching. I feel like I really get to work with him in a battery. So I love catching him as well. So those are the two that initially stand out. And even Catalano, Dallas ties a little bit. He played on the same summer organization I did growing up, and so I've known him throughout the years, and finally getting to catch him has been awesome. And we share a lot of the same previous coaches and friends and whatnot, so getting to really kind of get around him and know him well has been awesome as well.
Skip, can you put a value on having a 1-2 catching tandem like Easton and Mudler, what that does for you?
Well, I look back at, and I look back at some of the teams that I've played against or watched or anything, and I remember Curtis Thigpen and Taylor Teagarden at the University of Texas. They're kind of the same. They're similar. I think Mudler and Carmichael are similar in regard, and it's been really fun to watch those guys, how they go about their business, and they're really good. I mean, you could pick either one of them. You just draw their name out of the hat, and they're going to work with the pitchers. They're going to get after it, and both of them are Easton might swing the bat a little bit more. One's right-handed, one's left-handed. Who knows? I mean, but I think that their leadership is what really is big for me, and I think where these two guys are good, they're really talented, and him too, and Mudler. They're really talented, and they got physical ability, but what they have too is they have heart. They have a will, and that's what's really fun to watch. And when you go watch a baseball game, don't just look at the physical traits of it. Look at the will that they have, how they go about it, how hard they play, how gritty they are, how they just don't give in, and they don't care if they give up a hit. They're just going to continue to go right at you. Or this guy's going to have a 7-8 pitch at bat, you know, and that's what's fun to watch, man. When you look at that stuff, it's really fun.
It feels like it's gone almost a little overlooked considering what he did in the postseason last year. But Grant Stevens back for you this year. Just the value of how much he's pitched at this level and just how he kind of fits in.
I think his biggest deal is his leadership and how he goes about on a daily basis, how he talks to the younger guys and these guys too. I mean, he's full of confidence. I mean, it's really fun to just, sometimes you got to, hey man, hey, stop. That's enough, you know. And that's what's awesome about Grant is he's like having another coach in the bullpen because he's a lot older and he's experienced a lot. He's been around a lot of baseball. I think that's the biggest draw that he can give to this team more than anything, more than any ability on the mound.
Anything else? Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for being